We have a dilemma on our hands. What are we going to do about this riddle, this impossible riddle? See, in this channel, I'm the fourth most popular hair loss YouTuber in the world. That's a fact. No one's been able to disprove that fact. We talk about truth versus fact. So far, that's a fact, and therefore it's truth. With that being said, we have a dilemma. Nearly 7,000 people subscribing to my channel, watching my videos about hair loss, and I hold the world record for most videos about hair loss. It's what, 2,700? No one comes close to that. So with that being said, a lot of people in my audience, a lot of people that are attracted to me in their feed, hey, suggested video, you should watch this guy talk about hair loss because he apparently knows a lot. I don't really. The question, this concept is, well, I have to keep my hair so that women will be attracted to me, so that girls will want to date me. No one wants to date a bald guy. But then you keep going down that road, and what do you end up with? You end up with, and then no one will marry me. I will live my life alone because no one will marry a bald guy. So let's go down that road. Let's follow that logic, that toxic logic, hashtag toxic logic. Let's talk about that, okay? Whatever age you are, let's say you're 20, you're freaking out about Norwood 2, which I was working on a pretty strong Norwood 2 by age 20. You think, man, if I can just hold out till I'm 25, and then if I can at least have most of my hair and not be obvious that I'm possibly losing my hair, and I get married, at least I'm safe because I tricked a girl into marrying me. Little did she know that there's a good chance I was gonna go bald. Okay, so you get married at 27, which, by the way, my wife and I met when we were 25 and got married 27. So let's say you make it till 30 and bam, the fuse thinning kicks in, receding hairline kicks in even more, and you're starting to aggressively go bald. And you know my theory, and that is if you're already showing signs of balding by age 35, then you're going to be dealing with aggressive balding compared to the guy who's not really showing obvious signs by 35. He's probably going to be more slow motion balding, if at all. But it just so happens that you kind of hit the sweet spot as far as you got someone to marry you before it got obvious that you were going to be balding. And then she marries you, and then bam, then you start aggressively balding. And by 35, as it looks, you're probably going to be noticeably balding at this point. But it's too late. You know why? Because she married you. Now she's stuck. Unless she divorces you because you're losing your hair. And it's funny because in a very toxic state of mind, I've had people in the last couple of years leave comments like that, even toward me, you know, basically throwing their very toxic energy at me, trying to tell me that my wife will leave me if I go bald. I better go to Turkey and get a hair transplant because my wife will leave me. Imagine the mindset of someone who would say that and try to spread that concept to others. Now, I'm a confident person, so that means nothing to me. But people say that, and the fact that they say that is a reflection of their own insecurities, their own lack of identity. That's why they say that to people like me. I'm not saying this happens a lot, but over the years over in this channel, that has been a reoccurring theme from certain people who have a very low opinion of themselves, and that's why they say that to somebody like me, hoping that. Because that's what people like to do. They're basically hunters and gatherers of people in such a depraved state of mind. They want to collect other people like them. Unfortunately for them, they don't get that out of me. So, no, I'm not worried that my wife is going to leave me because I might lose my hair someday. Not at all. I did not marry someone so superficial in the same way she did not marry someone who would leave her if she suddenly gained 30 pounds. It's not that way because we actually love each other. So, but let's go down that toxic road. The same guy who says, no woman will be attracted to me because I'm balding young, could end up being the same guy who says, no woman will marry me because no one wants to marry a bald man. Would be the same guy who, going down that dark, toxic logic path, would also be the same guy that would say, my wife will divorce me if I start losing my hair. Therefore, I must remain a slave to considering that I must take Propecia, go to Turkey to get a hair transplant, get micro, and they go through all of that, because then they have to live their whole life that even though they found someone to marry, a guy that's going to be balding, well, now they have to worry the whole life that their wife is going to leave them over their hair. Here's the deal. Never in the history of the world has a woman ever left her husband, divorced her husband because he was balding. That's never happened. People may say that happened. They may even have been divorced, or their wife left them, or their girlfriend left them, whatever, and as a very low attack, made some kind of passing comment about them losing their hair. But it was only them twisting the sword on that person's side. They didn't leave him for that reason. They left him for other reasons. And I want to share this with you. No one has ever told you this before, so I want to tell you this sort of off subject. This is something my pastor had said. And he would, after decades of being a pastor and serving a large church, he said, in my decades of counseling couples, never once have I counseled a couple in which one of the people cheated on the other, and it was simply because of sex. Not once. It's always because of something more fundamental, that there was a communication issue going on there, and the one person felt unloved and the other person went looking for love because the one person wasn't expressing that in whatever time it was, whether it was quality time, whether it was actually saying the words that they needed to say, that sort of thing. So it's easy to get caught up on such fake, superficial concept of why people leave each other and get divorced. It's not because of hair. It's not because of hair. And it's going back to that same silly notion that women are attracted to men the same way we're attracted to women. Men are the superficial ones. We're the ones that degrade women to how they physically look. That's what we do to women. Women don't do that to us. They judge us on much harder, maybe even, you could even say superficial concepts, such as, can he provide a good living? If I were to marry him, could he provide for our kids? They're thinking that. They're never going to tell you that. They could care less about your hair. They care more about, what's this guy going to do for a living? Is he going to just be jumping from job to job? Does he have any skills? Is he a confident guy? Even if things do get bad, can he make me laugh? Can he make me feel good about myself? Can he communicate with me? That's reality. So ultimately, now that this is the end of the video, you get to decide which side do you fall on. Do you want to live a life where you constantly believe that you're not good enough, you're not valued enough, you're not attractive because you may go bald or are perhaps in the beginning stages of balding and are young? Therefore, women won't be attracted to you, no one will marry you, and your wife will divorce you if you lose your hair. What a toxic way to believe. Or there's this concept, yes, you are young and possibly balding. Women are still attracted to you because you're a confident person who makes people laugh, who has a skill set, who, if he's losing enough hair, will shave it off and start working out, make her laugh, all those things I've said. No problem finding women to marry you because that's the thing she's actually attracted to begin with. And she doesn't divorce you because you're actually a human being who's decent and cares about her and fulfills her needs. Forget about your hair. All, that emotional and psychological stuff that she actually needs you for. Yeah, that's why women are attracted to men and stay married to men, not because of their hair. You have a choice though. You get to decide. Is this all BS? Am I just gabbing away, just making this stuff up just to kill 10 minutes of your day? Is that what I'm doing here? Is this all garbage? Or could it be that I'm double your age? I've lived twice of your lifetimes, and most of my most recent years contained a lot of life experience that there's no way a guy in his 20s or teenage years could ever have. Could it be I'm your father figure for a reason? Could it be I have gathered this many people on my channel for a reason? Because even though I'm only the 4th most popular hair loss YouTuber in the world, I'm not here to tell you something so superficial that hair is going to solve your problems. You know what's going to solve your problems? You getting a brain transplant from me. Not a hair transplant, a brain transplant. Truth versus fact. Where do you stand? Right here in the comments.